Ross, I'm not going to debate you on these techniques because this is your wheelhouse, right? Like you know more about these suggestibility tactics and techniques and NLP than I do, right? I am not denying that these are powerful techniques, but they are techniques. You know, how do they fit
Course.
within a larger structure, within a larger system, which is what the vortex provides. It provides a
Larger
structure and a
doesn't
sequence.
necessarily mean better. And vortex, by the way, is something that's very confusing. It's a swirl of different elements with no clear pattern to it. So you
The
picked a bad
vortex,
name.
yes. No, I
You
picked
picked
a
a
great
bad
name. Okay, the vortex, the swirl is crucial to understanding the vortex. We've all experienced, or many of us have experienced, I should say, that sensation of being with a woman, and there's some sort of gravity that generates between you and her, right? There's some sort of energy that forms, and you can feel yourself sort of spiraling towards her, right? So the vortex, the shape
Good
of the
metaphor.
vortex is designed to remind us that there are forces of nature beyond our control at times that take hold of us, right? And at the very top of the vortex, the forces of attraction are kind of weak. If we say something wrong, if we do something wrong, we can easily be flung out of the vortex, right? The further down the funnel we
Sounds
go,
like bad
the
science fiction.
the further down the funnel we go, the more momentum starts to work on our behalf, and eventually we cross what I call the momentum threshold. That's where there's that's where there's a polarity shift, right?
You're
And it
using
actually
terms
feels
like force. You're
and
using terms from science like
and
force and momentum. You're
absolutely.
using
Wait,
scientific terms
wait till
without
I
any
talk to you about
scientific knowledge,
wait till I
not
talk to
any
you
math
about
behind it. It's
wait.
hijacking the terms of science to make nonsense seem like it has scientific backing.
Well, listen to this one. If you think I'm hijacking those terms, wait till you hear this one, right?
I'm
There
sure.
are four key
Your marketing.
elements.
Hit me with your marketing, dude.
There are four key elements, okay, that we want to try to build. And what we
Stuff.
want to do is we want to bring those to what I call equilibrium. I stole this term from star formation. So, equilibrium is when a star's tendency to collapse on itself is superseded by the energy being released as hydrogen and helium fuse together. Okay, hydrogen and helium fuse together, it gives off energy. And at the same time, the star is trying to collapse. When it hits equilibrium, it's in a state of balance.
Eric,
Four
Eric,
key
Eric,
elements to
Eric,
getting a woman to fall in
Eric,
love with you.
Eric, Eric. If you're
Yeah,
going to
go
use
ahead,
terms
Ross.
of science, then you have to come up with math. There's no valid scientific concept that doesn't have math behind it. So what is your mathematics behind you? What is your
This
math?
is no, this is a
Don't, you
concept.
cannot claim, you cannot speak in terms of science and claim scientific labels unless you're
Certainly I can. I
and
can take the term.
willing,
No, no, no,
unless you're
no.
able and willing to submit to the rigors of science.
You don't want to hear me talk
Cannot do.
about
It's
my method.
marketing. It's
Yeah,
sheer
yeah,
marketing.
yeah. Of course, of course. I needed some catchy terms that are going to stick in guys' head. The vortex of love. It's
But
got a
it's
ring to it. But
but
no,
May
these
the
are
but
force be
very,
with you.
yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so Ross, you're about to go down this rabbit hole of interrupting me every time. Is that what you're going to do?
no, I'm not.
That's
No,
what
you're
it sounds like.
mischaracterizing me. My purpose here is to clarify when someone is speaking, hijacking the technology and the
I
terminology of
say that
science,
right in my
and
book. But wait a
and
second, wait a second. I say that right in my book. I say I borrowed this term from science, from
great,
star formation. It's called
great,
equilibrium, and I
great.
explain. So when I'm giving
He finds
credit
it
where credit's
entertaining too.
due, when I give credit where credit's due, how am I hijacking a term?
Because you're using a term, you're taking on the trappings and the patina of science to make your argument seem to be more valid,
No,
which
I'm not. I'm
you
doing it to
said.
clarify an idea. I'm using a scientific term to help make an idea more efficiently uploaded into a guy's head.
I don't think it's well done.
People
Dean,
use
your
analogies and metaphors and comparisons all the time. What are you talking
Dean,
about?
your turn.
My head
Is
hurts.
it his turn? Is it his turn? Did I get to finish my thought? That's okay. I knew this debate was probably going to go sideways at some point. There are two types of debates. We started off good. The first type of debate is where there's a genuine desire to hear the other person's point of view and you make like valid arguments, right? And then there is the hijacking, interrupting, mischaracterizing other people's arguments, and
I
just
don't want
trying to
you.
look smart and trying to look like you're
I'm
winning.
not trying to look smart, sir. I'm trying to protect the audience from being misled
Oh
into
yeah, the
thinking
big
that
protector over
scientific.
here. Protect us, Ross, from Eric and
I'm. Oh,
his
now
his
thank you for your
hypnosis.
sarcasm. Your hate makes me stronger. Dean, go ahead.
Let the
Yeah,
hate
I'm
flow through
interested
you,
in
Ross.
the
That's it.
funnel. Like could you tell me more about the funnel? Like what's at the bottom of the funnel?
The point of no return. The point of no return is at the very bottom of the vortex when you are basically going to fall in love with somebody and they're going to fall in love with you, and there's no way to escape, right? You have fallen in love at the very bottom of the vortex.
Okay.
So again, when you meet somebody, the reason my model is not a step-by-step system. It's not do step one, step two, step three, step four. You can take the four elements and arrange them into different linear steps if you want to. But it's much more powerful to imagine that these four elements exist simultaneously and you are building each one of them up to equilibrium. Once they're all built up to equilibrium, you spiral all the way down the funnel and fall in love. She falls in love with you, you fall in love with her. That's the goal, is for you guys to go into the vortex together and spiral into love. That is a very quick snapshot. There's much more that goes into it. But I'm trying to definitely get guys to think through the frame of creating gravitational energy between the woman and you, right? Creating
How do
this
you do
sense of
that?
magnetism.
How do you create the gravitational energy?
So there's many different ways to do that. One such way of doing that is what you're talking about. For some guys, getting out of their head and just being present in the moment, that is a tactic and technique that can be used. Getting to know her, building you basically what you want to do is you want to build these four elements up: attraction, a psychological bond, a physical bond, and element three, by the way, also has to do with spatial awareness and how she feels within proximity of you. And the fourth element is an emotional bond. If you build all four of these key elements up using a variety of tactics and techniques or natural game, you spiral all the way down and fall in love. The vortex doesn't just take you from meat to sex, it takes you from meat to falling in love. You can use it just for pickup if you want to, but really it's designed to take you from meeting a woman to beginning a loving relationship. The subtitle of my book is How to Get a Woman to Fall in Love with You.
Okay. I got another question, like taking a step back about what we were previously talking about. When you have a night where you're totally on form and you feel like every single woman that you approach is interested in you, or many of those women are interested in you, and then you have a bum night, you have a night where you just feel invisible, you're in your head, like no women are responding well to you. What's the difference there? Because your knowledge, your logical knowledge of game is exactly the same on your good nights and your bad nights. So what's the missing ingredient that determines your good night? Because we all get good nights and bad nights.
It
So
depends.
what is that?
There is not one thing. There could be a variety of different things.
Such as?
So I could have an amazing night one night and the next day I'm just not in the right state of mind, right? Like that's a thing. State of mind definitely can affect your results. I'm burnt out.
Okay.
I'm tired. I go out, it's a shit venue. I'm getting bad responses, right? I don't have the best wingmen with me. I'm not as focused on game. I'm talking to a girl that I had met the night before. There's a variety of reasons of why you can go out and have a good night one night and the next night it's not good. It can happen. But
Hmm.
generally speaking, in my opinion, if you get good enough at this game and you stick with it enough, you can get to a point of consistency where those lows are not as low. You don't celebrate the wins quite as much, and you don't get down on yourself for the lows as much. You sort of have a little bit more of an even keel style of game.
Okay. But if there's a logical system and the pickup artists pose being good with women, like there's a reliable structured system that you can follow to make sure that you're perfect and you know how to get the girl every single time.
I never made
So
that
if that's
claim.
the case, Mystery said that.
No, I had never made
How do
that
you know when
claim.
you're good when you get the girl? So if that's the case, how are you still having bad nights if you perfected this 80, 90, 100% conversion rate? What's the
Uh,
missing link?
dude,
And like you said, it's your state of
I
mind.
was actually
So if
looking
it's your
forward.
state of mind, then that backs up what I'm just saying.
I was
How you
actually looking forward to disagreeing with you on that because I thought you were the one that was claiming 80 to 90% conversion rate. I have never made an 80 to 90% conversion rate claim. Now, if I'm in a really good state of mind and I have a lot of momentum and my game is on point and I'm cherry picking my approaches, have I gone like 7 or 8 for 10 before? You know what I mean? Like it's doable, but 80 to 90% conversion rate over a sustained period of time is just not real. That
Yeah,
does.
but what determines your game being on point?
What determines I basically judge myself by how
Then it should be
well
reliable.
did I do my best in the moment? If I did the best that I could in every moment and I feel like whether I went natural game, structured game, whether I was using inner game, outer game tactics, whether I was using a system, whatever, if I look at a woman and I do my best to get her, right? I do my best to attract her or discover if we have some compatibility and I use my game to the best of my ability, to me, that's a win. Whether I get her or I don't, I count it as a win. And that's basically what I do. I use my own internal barometer of did I actually try to succeed?
Yeah, but obviously what you're saying is there is a system, and a large majority of this doing well with women is a system. So 2 times 2 equals 4. If you know systematically and logically and structurally exactly how to emulate a great night and always attract women, then how are you still having bad nights? How are you still having nights where you
That's
don't?
not how it works. It's not a perfect system. I do have what I believe to be the most complete system to date. Okay. I've been in this game for 20 years. I've been coaching for over 16 years. I've studied masters such as Ross Jeffries. Mystery is my wingman, business partner, good friend. I've studied all different styles of game. I graduated the top student at my college out of 900 students at my business school. I say that not to impress you, but to impress upon you that I have the intellectual rigor to create something powerful. And yes, I'm a little biased because it's my system, but when I take me out of the equation and I look at what I created with the vortex, it is a fucking badass system. I introduce new mate selection theories. I know that you're not really big on the whole like social market value thing. Guys are stressing out too much about looks, money, status. I agree with you. I
Yeah,
introduce new mate selection theories that the community never talks about, right? My system is not a linear step-by-step system. It's a rearrangeable, adaptable, customizable system. I break tactics and techniques down into 3 key dimensions: directness level, intensity level, and positivity level. When you combine these in different ways, you get 8 different octants, it's called in the math world, right? Or 8 cubes. Once you understand the way that these elements can be arranged in different ways, you understand these 8 cubes and the different mate selection theories, you can truly create customizable systems, dozens and dozens of customizable systems for each and every student according to his wants, his desires, his strengths, his weaknesses. If he wants to play to his weaknesses, his strengths, it is completely flexible. And you can even turn down the opacity of it. If you want to use more natural game, just take a dimmer switch and turn the brightness level down and allow these concepts to more naturally infiltrate your game. The vortex of love is what everybody in the community needs to read next. It is a game
but
changer. It's a game
you
changer.
can't be thinking about that stuff when you're in the field
You should
because
not. Well,
there's
I
such,
shouldn't say you
such a
should
razor's
not.
edge of like
Correct.
if you're not in
Ideally,
that present moment, you're not having a great time, and you're thinking
agreed. No,
about which
listen.
system to use. It's like,
Ideally, you train this stuff, and then in the moment, you're not thinking about it. Dean, you're a boxer. I've seen you hitting punching bags. Do you train your techniques?
yeah,
You train your
yeah,
jab, cross, hook, your combos, and then when you get in the ring, ideally, you try not to overthink. You try to react, right?
hmm,
It's the
yeah,
same thing with this, right? Like, I don't want guys in the field thinking, oh, what step am I am now? Like, sometimes you're going to have these thoughts that rip through you in the moment, right? But ideally, you train this stuff, you understand it, you go out, write a little field report, you reflect, you go back out again, right? And eventually, this stuff becomes ingrained in you. Uh, and it's up to each guy how much he wants to ingrain it and how much he just wants to sort of keep it at a distance. But I'm not telling guys that they should just go out and be in their head 24/7 the whole time.
hmm, yeah. I mean, like clearly you're an intelligent guy and you thought about this stuff, but I honestly believe you do better if you learn energy game. and you dropped a lot of this logical stuff?
Honestly, Dean, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I don't think energy game is that unique. I was teaching similar stuff 15 years ago. Like what you're teaching, like I actually have a little post screenshotted from you. Can I read this post? You wrote this a few months ago.
Of course.
Okay.
Unless it was a troll post, yeah, of
No,
course.
it's not a bad post. So here, what is energy game? It's connection to peak state and a very grounded internal emotional feeling combined with connection to libido and horniness. When this is expressed outward to a woman, it's like a vacuum and she becomes influenced by your energy and feels calm and horny herself through emotional contagion. Okay? Here's the thing.
Sounds great.
When you approach a woman and you're in a peak state and you're in a peak sexual state as well, if the woman is open and receptive to that, she can be pulled into your state. Okay, certainly. But
Always.
sometimes you create a hot pot like effect where you blast her with too much energy and too much sexuality and
That's
she
true.
recoils from it. Okay.
That's true.
Ross actually popularized the boiling the frog analogy. So what I would say, Dean, is I've taught this method for sexualizing interactions as well. Rather than going up to a woman in a peak sexual state, why not teach your students to sort of turn their sexual energy up and down and control the sexual energy in the body? So I can be interacting with a woman and I want to sexualize things. Rather than ramping up my sexual energy, sometimes I just turn it up very mildly. So my words are talking about something else, but there's a little bit of sexual energy now oozing out of the interaction. So I don't think it's just get yourself in a peak state, be super horny, because emotions are not contagious all the time. If emotions were always contagious, then every woman we fall in love with would fall in love with us. If you ever had a super mad crush on a girl, how could she not be how could that not be contagious? People can sense our emotions, but they don't always take those emotions in. The idea that we can just transfer sexual energy into her, nah, there's an art to it. It can be done. Suggestibility, as Ross was talking about, it depends. She may be open to it. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. I see you.
No, fine. I mean, you're talking about the expression and the action and the logical gauge of how much you're expressing your sexual libido. But if you're not connected to libido, like most guys are not, most guys are completely disassociated. They're totally in their head. Their trauma is being released every time they think about approaching a woman. There's absolutely no libido there. So if you can't feel your sexual arousal, your sexual desire, you can't flirt with a woman. It doesn't matter how much you tell her that she looks hot, you want to take her home, you think she'd be good in bed. If you say that shit logically and you're disconnected and you can't feel that libido inside you, you're going to look a weirdo, a creep. What is the definition of creepiness? A disalignment between the way that you're acting and the way that you're feeling. Correct. So for you to even be able to flirt, you have to be able to feel your libido. Now, how you respond to that?
I would argue that women call guys creepy when a guy demonstrates too much sexual attraction before getting to know her. That's when a girl comes back to her girlfriends and says that guy was creepy. Usually, what she means is I wasn't attracted to him and he was expressing too much sexual energy. That's typically
I think it's
he was not in his own reality. He was rapport seeking. He was trying to impress her. He didn't actually believe that she would respond to him. So that sexual libido was being expressed in a very incongruent way.
Correct.
And that's what
incongruent. 100%. It's about being incongruent. You have this sexual energy, and on the other hand, you're pretending it's not there. Or you're trying to repress it. That's
or the other way around.
The other way around too. People pick up on. Hold on, please. People pick up. Just because I interrupted you constantly doesn't mean you should do the same to me. People pick up on being incongruent. I love that look on your face. People pick up on being incongruent. That's all I'm saying.
No, the worst one is learning pickup artistry and learning sub-communications and techniques how to flirt. When you're not even in a state where you want to go out and meet people. So you're doing it as an agenda. You're doing it because you're trying to work on your social skills. But inside, you feel apathetic, disconnected, sleepy, retired. If you're not horny and you're not switched on, you're not going to have a connection with a woman because man to woman, what is the man to woman frame? People used to say that you've got to have a man to woman frame. You could do that as a technique and you could start, yeah, how are you getting on? Make more eye contact. But if you aren't feeling switched on and connected and like you're present and like you've actually got value in the world, your sub communications are going to express complete unworthiness and strangeness. That's when she's going to go back to her friends and say, "This guy's a weirdo."
And
Like
Dean,
what?
you said something
Certainly,
beautiful.
who is advocating for
Something beautiful.
incongruence?
Dean, you
But
said something
you can't
beautiful
be
to
congruent
me.
unless you're in state and feeling
Dean, you
happy and
said
feeling playful.
Dean,
No,
you said
you don't
something
have to be in a
beautiful
peak
and
state all
unique
the
that I've
time.
never heard before. You used the word joy, the ability to be joyful and grounded at the same time. I'm not talking about being all over the place, but joy is contagious. Joy
Mm,
that's also grounded. Those
hmm
two elements, being joyful and being grounded, are
Yeah,
extraordinarily, and hear me, subtly attractive. They're not obvious. They're not evident. The woman will never be able to say, you know, that guy was grounded and joyful. She'll go back to
no,
her friends and say, I can't put my finger on what it was. And this
100%.
connection to joy, I've thought about it, but I've never expressed it publicly.
Dean,
It,
here's the deal, man. I think that this is a very powerful technique and tactic, right? This one of being connected with yourself, being connected to your libido, right? But it's just one piece of the game, right?
It's not a technique. It's how you should feel.
But it's not
You're
a
naturally
should.
in
It's not a
state.
should thing. Like if I'm gonna generalize, is it better for a guy to be connected to his libido and in state or disconnected? If it's an either or thing, sure, it's better for him to be connected. Obviously, right? I don't think you need to know anything about the game to know that being in a state of joy and connected to your libido and being present to the moment and not having thoughts cluttering your head and not being too logical, of course that's going to get you better results, right? But I'm talking about the full spectrum of the game. Like, look, some jujitsu practitioners, they get into a jujitsu match and they go straight for the person's neck. It's just all forward momentum straight for the neck. If you want to be a well-rounded jujitsu practitioner, you need to be able to play the guard. You need to be able to be on top. You need to be able to attack from multiple different angles. You need to be able to pull an opponent into you, push them away. There are many different aspects to a well-rounded jiu-jitsu fighter. I am a mixed Venusian artist, like a mixed martial artist. There's one for stealing terms, Ross. I know you're going to laugh at that one, right? But
good.
look, if you're a really, really talented traditional martial artist and you just know one way to defeat your opponent, you're certainly going to be powerful within your sphere. But a mixed martial artist, somebody who can take the fight to the ground on the feet and is more well-rounded, that's the ultimate. If we're going to argue which way of going about it is better, that's what the vortex gives you. The vortex gives you the ability to be direct, indirect, high intensity, low intensity, sexual, not
Let's
sexual. You can
let's
mix it all together.
let's hoist you on your own petard. Since you're talking about martial arts, Bruce Lee said something along the lines, I'm going to mangle the quote. I'd rather fight a man who's practiced 1,000 techniques once than who's practiced one technique 1,000 times. So Bruce
Very
Lee was all in
wise.
favor of simplifying things, not having eight different cubes. And, do you understand? To me, you're taking something and you're vastly overcomplicating it.
It's not overcomplicated. It's not. It's quite simple, actually. It took a lot of complexity to get here,
A
but it is
700
actually
page book is going to be complex.
650 pages of
I
vast
stand corrected, sir. 650 pages. It's not gonna be-
250,000 words. It's about two or three books
Okay.
in one.
You're arguing my point. Anything like that is going to be complicated.
Anything that's 650 pages is going to be complicated. That's your argument.
From what you're expressing when you say things like eight different cubes, it
You
sounds
guys haven't
complicated
even
to
let me
me.
explain it. All we've done is talk about energy game, which I'm
Explain,
fine.
explain eight cubes.
The eight cubes. So the I've broken down all of the tactics. Let's define, since you're big on definitions, right?
I
A
am.
tactic is a move or series of moves designed to complete a strategic objective. Okay, so our strategic objectives for the vortex are to build all four elements to equilibrium, as I said before. So, an element one tactic is a move or series of moves designed to trigger attraction or uncover attraction between you and a woman. Okay. A technique is the more exact expression of that tactic. And a series, several techniques strung together is what we would call a sequence. Okay. We can break our different techniques down according to three different dimensions: directness level, intensity level, and positivity level. Stick with me for a minute, okay? directness level exists on a 1 to 10 scale, okay? 0 to 10 or 0 to -10. If we're being direct in what we're doing, we're telling the woman she's attractive, we are to the positive side of the directness axis, okay? If we are trying to trigger attraction in the woman, but we are concealing our intentions, we are in the indirect side of the axis. That is the x-axis, the directness level axis. The y-axis is the intensity level axis. This means how much do I want her to consciously register and feel what I'm doing. So if I say to her, you're really hot, you know that? I like you. And then I stack to a story or I change the subject. I'm really not trying to make her feel that, right? I'm more trying to, or maybe I'm using a hypnotic word of some sort laced into what I'm saying, okay? I'm trying to affect her on a subconscious level. That means I'm below 0 on the intensity level axis. If I want her to actually feel what I'm doing, I go, you are fucking gorgeous. You know that? And I smile at her and I hold eye contact and I let that moment really settle in. I am on the positive end of the intensity level axis, okay? Directness level, intensity level. And then the last axis is, am I doing something to try to create a sensation of her gravitating toward me, positivity level, or am I using a push tactic? Do I want her to feel pushed away, right? So when you combine all of these different dimensions in different orders, you get 8 different categories of techniques that we can use. And once you understand these and you start labeling your tactics and techniques through these 3 dimensions, this is an overused term, but I'm going to use it anyway. It truly feels like a superpower. You are
Is it
pushing and pulling, you are pushing and pulling energy. You are doing it in high intensity or low intensity ways, and you are either being obvious about it or you're being discreet about it. It is, you learn to calibrate all of your tactics and techniques according to these dimensions. And then you can attach them to the different elements.
I would just invite the audience to judge for themselves whether that was comprehensive or confusing. I'd leave
Well,
it to
when
the
I'm trying
audience.
to explain it
I leave
in
it to
two
the
minutes,
audience. I leave it to the audience. I leave it to the audience to judge for themselves whether that was comprehensive or confusing or balance of both. That's
in
all.
2 minutes, I explained it in 2 minutes. To teach the vortex of love is, I could teach all of the main concepts of the vortex in about 60 minutes. I could give you a high level snapshot of all of it in about 60 minutes. Ice has told me when my book is ready that he's willing to do an interview with me one on one. Ice is very good about not interrupting people, as you can see. So I'm looking forward to that one.
I'm
But
just here enjoying popcorn, so you can see.
Show the popcorn.
Uh,
I don't. He is eating popcorn.
Let me just give some context quickly, and then I don't want to interrupt the flow, so that's why I stay quiet during these debates a lot. But yeah, basically, months ago, I just decided let me just go to the store in Peru and just buy like every different type of popcorn. And then for each debate, if it gets pretty crazy, I'll fucking put one in a microwave. It did not happen a few days ago for the A.G. Hayden versus Mr. Ricardo one, but we're having a good time today. Popcorn moments. Anyway, continue.
Taking questions from the audience or
well, let
comments.
me let me give you a concrete example, Ross, really quick, of how you could use the cubes, okay? Let's say I'm with my buddies and we're laughing and we're jeering and we're joking around and we're building a big hoopla. And I'm doing that intentionally to grab the attention of a woman across the room. I'm intentionally vibing with my buddies, but I'm sort of projecting all of this energy in her direction across the room, okay? And I'm trying to build attraction, element 1 with her, okay? I'm being indirect because I'm not being obvious in what I'm doing. I'm being high intensity because I'm building a hoopla, right? We're jeering, we're loud, we're slapping each other's back. So it's high intensity and it's positive. I'm trying to draw her to me with that tactic. That would be what's called a cube 2, element 1 tactic.
Sounds like a behavioral. sounds like a seduction periodic table of elements.
It's exactly what it is.
Well, have you ever been in chemistry? I challenge anyone who's ever taken a high school chemistry class, ask them, have they ever understood the periodic table of elements?
It's gonna take a little work. Listen, the key to the cubes is definitely the hardest part of the vortex, okay? It takes looking at lots of examples of the different cubes. It takes a lot of repetition, but once you get it and internalize it, it is super powerful. You can't be a dummy. You do have to think and use your brain a little bit. I'm doing my best to explain it within a very limited time frame, but trust, I've been teaching this to my students. It's powerful shit.